What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. I felt compelled to tell y'all this story, this tragic story about this young woman from Charlotte, North Carolina, right? A young woman by the name of Shanquella Robinson. And her story is a cautionary story of watching who you call your friends. Be selective about the people that you call your friends. And this story is in no way this young lady's fault at all. I'm not faulting this young lady, for her own death at all. But it's just like, man, people can be very heinous and cruel. There's some very heinous and cruel people in this world. And I'm gonna let y'all in on the story. So according to the Queen City News YouTube channel, about 2 weeks ago, a 25-year-old young woman by the name of Shanquella Robinson from Charlotte, North Carolina ended up dead in Cabo, San Lucas, Mexico, after taking a trip with her friends on October 28th to celebrate one of her friends' birthday, right? So she left on October 28th. By October 29th, the next morning, she was pronounced dead. So in a span of 24 hours, she was pronounced dead on this trip. Can you imagine a mother getting that phone call? That's the worst phone call you ever want to hear in your life. You sending your baby off on a trip with people who are supposed to be her friends, and she ends up dead. And I'm going to tell y'all the circumstances around her death. Shanquella was pronounced dead within 24 hours of her trip. Now, Shanquella Robinson's mother, Salamandra Robinson, said that she received a phone call from one of Shanquella's friends saying that Shanquella wasn't feeling good and that it was alcohol poisoning from having too much to drink, and they couldn't get a post from Shanquella. They couldn't get a post. However, Shanquella's mother said that each of those friends there in Cabo was telling different stories about what occurred with Shanquella. They were all telling different stories, saying different things. It wasn't adding up. It was sounding very suspicious, sounding very fishy, and she wasn't confident in their stories. So the family then made calls to the FBI and the Mexican authorities and learned of another potential cause of death for her daughter, Shanquella Robinson. The autopsy came back and said that Shanquella's death had nothing to do with alcohol, but Shanquella had a broken neck. She had a broken neck and her spinal bone was cracked. Her spinal bone was cracked, indicating that she had been beaten. Right? Again, the autopsy came back and said that Shanquella's death had nothing to do with alcohol, like her friend suggested, and that she had a broken neck and her spinal bone was cracked, which indicated that she had been beaten. Now, the entire group of friends that were with Shanquella Robinson came back from Mexico, leaving Shanquella's body in Mexico. They came back. Immediately. And after 2 weeks in spending $6,000, Shanquella's body is now back home in North Carolina with her family after her family had to get that money together to get her body back to Charlotte, North Carolina. However, again, her mother, as she should, wants answers about what really happened to her daughter. Because they saying she was beaten. The friends said it was alcohol poisoning. Those are two different, it don't line up at all. Now, the Queen City News said they have spoken with officials at the U.S. State Department in Mexico who refute the claim that Shanquella Robinson was murdered. Now, the U.S. State Department in Mexico refute the claim that Shanquella Robinson was murdered, saying that the police's initial indication is that there was no clear evidence of foul play and no certainty that she was murdered. However, her family does not believe. They don't believe that, that it was just an accident, some freakish accident at all. Right? They want to know what happened that night in Cabo. They want to know what went on between Shanquella and those group of her friends. Right? Now, from what I understand about Mexico, y'all, Mexico don't even investigate the murders amongst their own people intensively at times. So I'm sure they really not going to investigate. They're not going to go above and beyond to investigate the murder of an American woman on their soil. Right? From all the information that I gathered, y'all, I really believe that she was beaten to death by her group of fake friends. I believe that young woman was beaten to death by those friends, for sure. And they left her dead body lifeless wherever they were staying, and they continued on with their business and left and got up out of there, hightailed it out of there. And from what I'm reading on Facebook, again, all this is alleged, of course. This is all what we just hearing. This is all news. It's all what we hearing. It's all alleged. It's not saying to be true. I'm hearing on Facebook that, they found that allegedly somebody else found Shanquella's body. Before the mother was even contacted, somebody else found Shanquella's body, like the maid or somebody found her body in the living room, lifeless, right? Now, this is crazy to me, man. Like, if something happens to my friend, there is no way I'm not going to tell her mother or something, because they were saying she got drunk. If she got drunk and intoxicated, I'm not going to wait until she's deceased to tell them what's happening. I'm not going to wait for a long little while. And no, I'm going to contact that person's family immediately and tell them exactly what's going on. I'm not going to be in hiding. I'm not going to be none of that. None of that is go down with me at all. I just went out of town with my right-hand man since I was 5 years old in kindergarten. We went to Miami. If something, knock on wood, if something was going to happen to him out there, I mean, we already went on the trip, but just for future instances, I had to knock on wood. But if something would have happened to him, y'all think I would have hesitated or not told his people? Not at all. Same way if something would have happened to me, he would have called my people immediately. So that's fishy in itself, you know. But again, man, them people, those friends she was with had something against her for whatever reason. And they ended up beating, I believe they ended up beating that young lady to death. And that's really what happened. And that's why they got up out of there immediately. That's why they hid. They didn't really wait until she was discovered to tell her mama, all of that. Right? Because it just don't make sense. If something would have happened to one of them, they would have wanted their people to be alerted. And they didn't do that. So it's telling me something is off. Trust and loyalty is dead amongst a lot of people in today's time. Sometimes you can't even trust family. But those friends, my mama always warned me about friends and having to watch out who your real friends are, having to watch them and observe them, because friends could be really jealous people in disguise. People who are envious, who really mean you no good, no well-being at all. They have things against you. They hide it and wait for the right time to strike. This is a scary situation. Imagine you going miles outside of the country, going way outside of the country with a group of people, and they turn on you and they get the beating on you. Just imagine if that was to happen. And again, they haven't confirmed that this happened, but I believe that's what happened. Just imagine that occurred. Then what are you gonna do? Like, it's just like I can imagine what was running through her mind at that point. You really have to know, and man, it's tough, because people can hide their intentions very well. But you really, really have to vet people before you decide to go out the country with them. Because going out the country with people is a different thing than just traveling to New York or Cali or Miami like I went, or Atlanta or something. Or Vegas. That's a completely different trip. Going out of town where it's maybe harder to get in touch with your people, harder for your people to get in touch with you or get to you. That's a different thing, man. But my mama always warned me about people who are considered your friends, because people that are friends can turn on you and really, again, not really be friends at all. Something happened to a family member of mine. One of my family members, man. She had gotten into it. She's older than me. She got into it with a group of people, a group of girls, right? Got into it with some girls. She whooped on the girls, whooped and beat on the girls, smoked the girls, right? They got into an incident. She beat the girls up. They tried to jump her. She beat the girls up. So after the situation happened, some weeks later, they all make up. They make up with each other, right? They all make up and play buddy. They play buddy. Play best friend again. All girl, we friends again. All that's in the past. It's all good, girl. Come on over to the house. We having to get together. Come on to the house. My family member goes over to that person's house. And by the end of the night, my family member is running in the street, hollering and screaming, running down the street naked. And from that day, her mind ain't been right since. She's been off since. Those girls put something in my family member's drink. They put something in her drink, for sure. Because my family member was in her right mind all before that happened. Always in her right mind. They put something in that girl drink and made her go crazy, or lay some, or did something. We know something happened for sure. Going over there, thinking everything all is forgiven. Oh, let's kiss and make up. We all good. Those girls really got a hidden agenda. They jealous, they pissed off, they mad that you embarrassed them, whooping on them like that in front of everybody, and they wanna seek revenge in whatever way possible. And what better revenge than to have you humiliated in the middle of the street, running down the street naked and all this, acting crazy, acting out of your mind and acting out of your body, acting another way than normal, right? They saw that. That was a great opportunity to strike and say, yeah, listen, I mean, they saw that the girl my family member had forgiven them. They welcomed her in with open arms. And then they did the unthinkable, did the dirty to her. And again, she hasn't been right since, unfortunately. So my mom told me that story to tell me what friends really do to you, what they can do to you, what can really happen to you when you're around people who you think are your friends. It ain't good. It ain't good business. You know what I mean? You got to really be careful. All right. And I'm not saying not have friends. We all gonna have friends, but you really have to be careful about who you choose to be close with, man. And it's not this young lady's fault at all. I'm not faulting her at all, but it's just, I'm telling you the story about how people can be really foul people, you know? But my thing again, when they saw her unresponsive, nobody said anything immediately. She had to be found by somebody outside of their friend group before her mother was alerted. Come on, man. There's no way on earth something happened to my friend, I'm going and hiding at all. All I can think about is the quote, God protect me from my friends, for my enemies I can see. God protect me from my friends, for my enemy I can see. I can see my enemies, but God protect me from my friends, because I don't know what their intentions are. I don't know if they got hidden agendas or any other motives for being around me. If they really want to do harm to me, you just never know. Again, it's so important to know and understand who you're traveling with, because there are really cruel, malicious, envious people in this world that would do heinous things to you and go on about their day like nothing happened. This story is super sad. It breaks my heart for that mother. That mother want to know what happened to her baby. Her baby went out of town, out of the country with people she trusted, people that she really wanted to be around and thought she was going to have a good time with. Her mother called us, said they had a chef. They were getting ready to eat some tacos and eat good. And she was just, oh man, I'm going to let my baby go out here and have a good time with her friends. And little did she know that was the last time she was going to hear her daughter's voice. Do y'all know the pain from that, man? Like, for real, like, I've lost a sibling before. I can remember how I had never seen my father cry in his life. My father lost 2 brothers. He was hurt and distraught, but I never saw him visibly cry. When my brother was killed, I saw the pain in my father's face. My father fainted. My father's a big man, 6'3.5", 260. He's a big dude. You know, always was a man's man to the highest degree. But when something happened to his baby, a part of my father's spirit left that day. You know, and I remember seeing that. You know what I mean? So this is my older brother, man. And you know, I seen and my brother's mother, because we had different moms. I saw her I saw the way, like, man, the scream that when she screamed to the top of her lungs. Seeing my brother like that's a pain I don't wish on nobody. And I'm really gonna be praying for her mother and her family, because they need it. They need them answers. Again, I don't know what happened, but I really think they beat that girl out there. They got into some type of fight and they jumped that girl and beat that girl out there. And now they lying about what really happened. That's what I really think. Now, again, it's all alleged. It's all just my belief. I don't have any confirmation. I don't even know the names of the individuals involved. But I do believe it was foul play amongst those friends. And I really hope justice is delivered to Shanquella Robinson's family, you know, and her mother for sure. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this story. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out. Peace.